Chapter 61 Yin and Yang combine to create everything in the universe. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Tanya finished speaking, he took out another wooden sign and brushed it with the words Yuhao grilled fish, 100 gold soul coins. Sister Xiaoya, is this okay? Hui Yuhao was shocked. He didn't expect that Tanya would directly change it to 100 gold soul coins. Look at me, I'll give you a shout. Tanya took a deep breath and shouted, take a look, Yuhao's grilled fish, now only costs 100 gold soul coins. It's extremely delicious, don't miss it. Take a look. Crow. After shouting for a long time, Tanya took a deep breath and felt a little puzzled, why didn't anyone come? Those students looked at her strangely. I couldn't help but pull up a student at the end of the queue at the Hanyu barbecue stall and asked, hey, what's going on with you guys? Instead of buying the cheap one, buy the expensive one. The student who was pulled away sneered and said, you are crazy about money. Are you jealous when you see others making money? Other people's grilled fish has a lot of history. It used to be a grilled fish exclusively for the royal family. Now they are selling grilled fish when they are depressed. Why are you joining in the fun? Is it possible that your grilled fish is also a grilled fish from some royal family? A trace of embarrassment flashed across Tanya's face. Their fish was certainly not from the royal family, he immediately retorted, then what evidence do you have to prove that theirs is the royal grilled fish? Do you need proof? Everyone in the gourmet family has approved it, and it tastes really good. I bought one yesterday. It is simply the best grilled fish I have ever eaten. The student looked disdainful, and then said with a face full of intoxication that being able to eat grilled fish that only the royal family could eat would give him the ability to brag to others in the future. Just when Hanyu was grilling fish. Yeah, it hurts. The woman in red moved her body, and a more severe pain came, making her groan, opening his eyes, a flash of pain flashed across his eyes. What's going on, my body? The woman in red was shocked when she saw that her body was wrapped like a mummy. You're awake. Yan Xiaozhe, who was wearing white clothes, sighed. Xiao Tao, you almost caused a disaster this time. If those two students hadn't still had some strength, you might have reduced them to ashes. Teacher, what is going on and why I am like this? Ma Xiao Tao ignored what happened when she ran away just now, but asked Yan Xiaozhe how she got injured. The injuries on your body were probably caused by that student. You attacked him, and he slashed you 18 times when he resisted. During the treatment just now, Yan Xiaozhe discovered that Ma Xiao Tao had 18 knife marks on her body, so he deduced the scene of Hanyu slashing Ma Xiao Tao wildly in a short period of time. Your hands are seriously injured. Just take good care of yourself in the past few days. The injuries on your body are not serious. You almost made a big mistake this time. In the past, those disciples had no background and were suppressed by us. This time, the young master of the 9 treasure glazed sect is here. Yan Xiaozhe sighed, turned around and left the secret room. Don't let me know who it is, or else. Ma Xiaotao's eyes were full of surprise and uncertainty, and finally she could only lie on the bed and lose herself in thinking. Well, seniors, today's grilled fish will be sold here. Hanyu smiled and greeted the students who were leaving, and cleared up the stalls with satisfaction. After Ning Tian and the others tasted the grilled fish, they left long ago. Today we prepared 60 pieces of grilled fish, and all of them were sold out in a short time. Almost everyone bought 2, and today they earned 24,000 gold soul coins. They should be less anxious about money in the future. After cleaning up, he took Yuan Gungun to the dormitory area. After Hanyu left, someone finally bought Hui Yuhao's grilled fish. Soon, the grilled fish he prepared were sold out, costing 5 copper coins each. Hui Yuhao didn't feel happy after selling out the grilled fish, but was in a bad mood. Watching Hanyu leave, Hui Yuhao said bitterly in his heart, we are all freshmen, and we are all selling grilled fish. Why are you better than me? Why are your fish more expensive than mine and why do people still buy them? Why do you wait until your fish are sold out before it's my turn? What did I do wrong? You all treat me like this. Mommy mommy. Hu Hao murmured to himself, as scenes from the past flashed through his mind, and a subtle black aura flashed deep in his eyes. Gun, when you go back tonight, you will have absorbed the Soul Ascension pill. With the Xian Shui pill, you should be able to increase your soul power by about 2 levels. Yuan Gunggun's fat face narrowed with a smile, and he nodded vigorously and said, "Thank you, boss. I will take it when I get back in the evening. This way I will at least have level 27 soul power, hee. Han Yu nodded, separated from Yuan Gungun at the door of the dormitory, and returned to his dormitory. Untie. Han Yu let out a low drink, and a large number of memories came to him, making him confused for a while. After about a while, my mind gradually cleared up. Is this the entire process of learning the soul guide today? It's not bad. After sorting out the memory, the shadow clone used the Sharingan to quickly absorb the knowledge of the soul guide. He stayed there and did nothing, just kept watching other people's production process, from time to time, read books on soul guides and the like. Don't rush to make the soul guide now. Let's read more and accumulate more. With the help of Sharingan, my learning speed will become very fast. Han Yu secretly said. At the same time, in a remote corner of the soul guidance department, a figure gradually woke up. His eyes were blank for a while, then a red light flashed in his eyes, and he regained clarity, and then walked out as if nothing had happened. In the following days, Han Yu's daily routine became very regular. He went to the academy for classes during the day and went out to sell grilled fish at night. Until Han Yu had learned most of the theoretical knowledge, he used the shadow clone to attend classes. He practiced soul power in the dormitory and learned how to make soul guides, although the student who became the shadow clone was not taken seriously. With the blessing of spiritual detection, he still laid a solid foundation. 3 months passed quickly. Success. A surprised voice came. Han Yu looked at the soul guide in his hand that looked like a kunai, and his face was excited. This was his first soul guide. Not long ago, after accumulating enough knowledge, he finally started to try to make a soul guide. This kunai-like soul guide was considered a first-level soul guide, and it was a practice he made by imitating something. However, although it is a practice work, the effect is also very extraordinary. When injecting soul power, transparent silk threads will appear, and then you can throw the kunai out. After the enemy dodges, use the silk threads to pull it back and give a fatal blow unexpectedly. It needs to be used with the Sharingan. It can be said to be a good thing to sneak up on people. Ordinary people will never think that the things they shoot out can be taken back, and they will definitely suffer a great loss if they are careless. Moreover, as a soul guide, the kunai is also very sharp. As long as it hits, even if you are a soul master or soul master, you will be injured. It can be used to deal with some small fish, so as not to waste soul power, and it is also very handsome. The production of the first soul guide means that a new business can be done. Next, Han Yu does not plan to continue to study in the soul guide department. After all, there are only so many things that the student can touch, and it is useless to stay any longer. This knowledge is enough to raise Han Yu's soul guide level to level 3, separate a clone to study soul guides, one to continue to develop thunder attribute skills, and another to study the purple magic pupil. After 3 months of research, Han Yu found that his Sharingan could resonate with the moon. He let the shadow clone try to transform in the direction of absorbing the power of moonlight. After 3 months, he finally had a breakthrough. He could absorb the power of moonlight at night to enhance his mental power. Although it was not much, he had a direction. He believed that as long as he worked hard in this direction, he would eventually succeed. According to ancient explanations, the moon is yin and the sun is yang. The unity of yin and yang can bring everything. The Sharingan is the top martial soul in terms of yin attributes. In addition to the spiritual attribute, it should also contain the yin attribute, the top martial soul with dual attributes of yin and jing. The freshman assessment has finally begun. Dear Lauda, please read and vote. Chapter 62 Freshman Assessment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Today, Han Yu did not use his shadow clone to go to class, because the freshman assessment is about to begin. Ning Tian sat next to Han Yu, while Wu Feng sat behind him. He looked at Han Yu from time to time, with a trace of anger flashing in his eyes. Hibiscus on the podium looked around and said solemnly, "We will not have classes today." It has been 3 months since the school started. You have also made great progress, and now is the time to verify your efforts. March is here, and the freshman assessment is about to begin. Only if you pass the assessment can you officially become a member of Shrek Academy. The exam will be held tomorrow. After saying that, Hibiscus smiled slightly on her face. In the past few months, the students in Class 9 have made great progress under her guidance, and she is quite satisfied, especially student Yuan Gungun, whose soul power has reached level 28 now, will be able to become a soul master in no time. Ning Tian. Arrive. Mu Jin smiled slightly. The freshmen will be redivided into classes after the assessment. You will write down the future development direction and give it to me later. Ning Tian, you are responsible for putting it away. Okay, Teacher Mu. Ning Tian stepped forward and took the stack of paper from Mu Jin's hand, and then distributed it to the students. Taking a piece of paper from Ning Tian, Hanyu pondered slightly. After the assessment, he will leave. Whether to write or not actually means nothing to him, but now I still have to do the whole set for acting, so what kind of soul master do I belong to? Mind control system? Attack system? Or agility attack system? It's a bit difficult to write. His speed is not bad, much higher than that of the same level. As the owner of a spiritual martial spirit, this is very incredible in the eyes of ordinary people. Moreover, he possesses a series of skills such as Chidori style, and his attack is not inferior to that of the top martial arts attack system of the same level, not to mention the control aspect. Although you can only control one person alone now, as long as you control it, that person is basically finished. After thinking about it, I basically have no shortcomings except for my weak defense. This is a perfect assassin template in the game. The reaction speed is also half that of ordinary people, and the change of direction increases the chance of dodge. As an assassin with high attack speed, high dodge and control, as long as he attacks with all his strength, even those who are a few levels above him will risk losing their lives if they are careless. Start with a control, then attack the vital point, a critical hit. Die. Even a defensive soul master like Su Sancher could be killed by him with just one strike. After all, if you push the speed to the extreme, you may not even be able to activate the martial soul. Without the martial soul, the soul master is just a human being who is a little stronger than ordinary people. After Hanyu thought about his abilities, he wrote his direction on the blank white paper. Sensitive attack control system. Perfect. Hanyu smiled with satisfaction. Boss, show me what direction you wrote. At this moment, Yuan Gungun, who was sitting by the window in the back row, came to Hanyu's side at some unknown time. No, look at it. Hanyu didn't hide it and gave it to him openly. Agility attack control system. Do our soul masters have this direction? Yuan Gungun scratched his head and said with some doubts. Originally, he thought Hanyu would write about the control system. It didn't exist before, and now I show up, so now it exists. Hanyu glanced at Yuan Gungun and said calmly. Yuan Gungun was not aware of it, and felt an aura emanating from Hanyu, nodding, with a look of admiration, as expected of the boss. Then I will write the attack and defense system. Hanyu was stunned and subconsciously asked, is there such a direction? Yuan Gungun nodded seriously and said, originally, he didn't have it, but now he has it. Hanyu was stunned, smiled and scolded, you should learn from me, watch the beating. Ouch! Yuan Gungun rubbed his painful forehead from the bullet and muttered, my attack is not bad, and my defense is not bad either. I feel like there is nothing wrong with me writing this. Hearing this, Hanyu's heart moved. Yuan Gungun was right, his fat martial spirit did have both. During the last competition, he had a deep understanding of his defensive power, and his attack power was not bad, but his speed was too fast, and Yuan Gungun couldn't catch up. In addition, he could only see forward, making it difficult to turn. If coupled with my mental detection sharing the 360-degree perspective of God, then, Hanyu glanced at Yuan Gungun strangely. No wonder others said that fat people are potential stocks. The ancients did not deceive me. After writing their respective directions, Ning Tian collected the note and handed it to Mu Jin before returning to his seat and sitting down. Ning Tian, who owns the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, is naturally an auxiliary type. Mu Jin collected the note, stood on the podium, and said, "You have been practicing with me for 3 months. I hope you will perform well in the next assessment, because only the top 150 students can stay. The competition is conducted by drawing lots. Each group fights 10 games, and the ranking is calculated based on the number of wins. The teams that enter the 64th place can participate in the knockout rounds. The top 4 will receive good rewards. As for the champion." Having said this, Mu Jin glanced at Han Yu, who was the old god, and then said, "The championship reward is very cherished. Our class plus Han Yu, who transferred to the class, now has 101 students, so there will be 2 people teaming up together. Now, who wants to form a team of 2? Stand up. Except for the 2 of them, I will group the remaining students according to the characteristics of their martial spirits." After the words fell, the students in the class whispered, but no one was willing to stand up. After all, forming a team with 2 people is too risky, 3 people can't guarantee a win, and 2 people may not even make it through a round. At this time, Han Yu stood up. "Teacher Mu, count me in." Then he turned around and looked at Yuan Gungun at the back and nodded at him. Yuan Gungun stood up and said, "Teacher Mu, I am willing to form a team with the class monitor." Mu Jin smiled slightly. "Very good, then I will divide the remaining students into groups later. You go to self-study first, and I will come later. Han Yu, come with me." "Yes, Teacher Mu." Han Yu stood up and followed Mu Jin to her office. Walking into the office, Han Yu looked around slightly. Mu Jin's office is very simple, with 2 bookshelves on each side and a few potted plants next to the bookshelves. Han Yu recognized them as gardenias at a glance. In the middle is a desk, which is about 2 meters long and 1.5 meters wide. A thick stack of information is piled on it. With amazing eyesight, Han Yu can clearly see Ning Tian's information on it. Behind the desk, there is a row of sofas. Sit anywhere you want, there are no rules here. Mu Jin pointed to the sofa next to her and then sat on the chair next to the desk. "Dear teachers, please read and vote." Chapter 63 Recruiting in Progress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay. Han Yu sat down casually on a sofa and asked, "Teacher Mu, what do you want to talk to me about?" "I want to ask if you are sure." Mu Jin did not say it, but Han Yu understood what he meant. If the competition allows killing, Han Yu can kill them alone. Unfortunately, this is a competition. If I team up with Yuan Gun, there should be no problem. It won't be a problem to win the championship. Mu Jin nodded. He still trusted Han Yu's strength very much. "I'm not worried about others, but you must be careful of Dai Huabin's group in Class 5. They are from the White Tiger and Nether family of the Xing Luo Empire and have martial soul fusion skills." Hearing the martial soul fusion skills, Han Yu's face was slightly solemn. He hasn't seen it yet, but he has learned about it from other places, and he hasn't experienced how powerful it is, but I think it must be much stronger than Dai Huabin alone. Dai Huabin is a soul master, and Zhu Lu is a great soul master. The fusion of the 2 should at least have the combat power of the soul master level, or even higher. Although it depends on the degree of martial soul compatibility, there should be no problem in going one step further. Ordinary soul masters are definitely not opponents. "I know, Teacher Mu, I will pay attention." Han Yu nodded. "Well, then, help me analyze the team formation of the students." Mu Jin picked up the collected notes and muttered to the first one. "Agility Attack Control System, Han Yu. Do our soul masters have this system?" Mu Jin looked weird and laughed and scolded. "Now it's there, you can see my speed, which is not inferior to the agility attack system, and it has control." "Okay, it's reasonable for you to say that. There is nothing wrong with saying that. Your speed and control are indeed extraordinary." Mu Jin nodded and agreed with Han Yu's statement. Strong attack and defense system, Yuan Gun. You 2 came to the academy to create a new profession, right? Seeing the second one, Mu Jin was slightly stunned and secretly sighed. It is true that those who are close to vermilion will be red, and those who are close to ink will be black, just like Han Yu. Gun's writing is also in line with his martial spirit characteristics. I don't think there is anything wrong with it. Han Yu said seriously. Well, it does fit from the perspective of martial spirit. Support system, Ning Tian. Seeing the third picture, Mu Jin's face finally became normal. Tell me what you think, how to divide it better, you have fought with them many times in the past 3 months. Han Yu pondered for a moment and said, the first group, Ning Tian, Wu Feng, Nan Men Yuner. The second group. Li Qing, Zhao Lucy, Wang Baoqiang. The third group. The 3 ghosts of the Huang family, Lan Yin, Yu Dagong. That when Han Yu and Mu Jin discussed the grouping, time passed slowly, and soon it was noon. Finally divided, I'm exhausted, Han Yu thank you, without you, the teacher would be busy until at least the afternoon. Mu Jin stood up, stretched his hands upwards, and slowly leaned forward. The teacher's clothes on his upper body were propped up high, revealing a perfect curve, and a fragrance entered Han Yu's nose. Looking at the tempting scene in front of him, Han Yu's face turned slightly red. As an ultimate worker, except for a love affair when he was studying, he has been struggling for life since entering the society. By the way, you and student Yuan Gungun should practice cooperation in the afternoon to avoid capsizing. Yeah, I have the same idea, then I will go to eat first. Go. After saying goodbye to Mu Jin, Han Yu called Yuan Gungun to have lunch, came to the woods outside the academy. Boss, how do you think we should cooperate? Yuan Gungun said with curiosity. It's not cooperation, I plan to give you a cheat. Han Yu smiled mysteriously, as if he was looking forward to the appearance of that scene. Hook. What is a cheat? Yuan Gungun looked puzzled. As a native, he obviously didn't understand what Han Yu meant by hook. You'll know in a moment. Now you turn into a meatball. Oh. Yuan Gungun nodded obediently, and then his fat expanded. The whole person quickly came to about 2 meters and 5 meters tall. 2 circles of yellow soul rings rose from his feet, and the second soul ring lit up. Meatball impact. The head, hands and feet retracted into the body one after another, and Yuan Gungun's slightly deep voice came from inside, Boss, it's done. Han Yu smiled slightly, and scarlet light flashed in his eyes. Spirit detection sharing. An invisible wave emanated and enveloped Yuan Gungun. The meatball that Yuan Gungun turned into shook, and in his perception, time seemed to slow down. Originally, he could only see the vision in front, but under the sharing of spirit detection, the surrounding 360-degree picture appeared clearly in his mind without blind spots. There was no need to use eyes to see it all. Any subtle changes could be reflected in his mind. For example, he was now facing away from Han Yu, but he could clearly see a curve at the corner of his mouth rising upwards. Boss, is this your soul skill? It's so powerful. With this soul skill, I feel like I can hit anyone. Yuan Gungun's excited voice came from the meatball, and then it bounced twice in place. In that case, try the effect. Okay. Yuan Gungun responded, and then his body slowly rolled up. Start. Woohoo, bang. 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 Yuan Gungun rolled faster and faster, breaking trees wherever he passed, and soon a large area was cleared around him. The art of multiplication. Yuan Gungun was still not satisfied. With a clear view, he rolled forward for a while, stopped suddenly, and then quickly rolled backwards. Looking at the meatball more than 3 meters high in front of him, Han Yu's mouth twitched. This destructive power far exceeded his imagination. Ha ha ha. Boss, it's so cool. While rolling, Yuan Gungun made a deep voice. Okay, when the game comes, you use this trick to knock them over directly. Han Yu grinned, as if he had found something fun. Squeak. A sudden break sounded, and Yuan Gungun rolled in front of Han Yu, stretching out his hands and feet to return to normal. Patting his chest, he said loudly, Don't worry, boss. With this trick, plus your strength, we can win the championship directly. Very good. Gun, I have a question for you. Han Yu was silent for a while, and finally decided to tell him about that matter. If he didn't want to, he would have to erase his memory later. After all, he didn't have much time. Yuan Gun said, "Boss, what's the matter?" Han Yu said seriously, Gun, how do you think I treat you normally?" Yuan Gun said without hesitation, "Of course it's great. You are the best person to me besides my parents. If it weren't for the boss, I would still be that cowardly fat pig. How could I have the confidence and strength now?" When saying the word fat pig, Yuan Gun suddenly laughed at himself, and then said calmly, usually, he hated others calling him a fat pig. As long as he heard it, he would definitely rush up and beat him up first. Now he actually called himself a fat pig. Obviously Han Yu's status in his heart is not low. "So, are you willing to leave Shrek Academy with me? Please read more, please vote, please. Chapter 64 If you follow a pig, you will only become a pig. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuan Gun's face froze, as if he didn't expect Han Yu to say such words suddenly. With a probing look on his face, he said, "Boss, are you kidding me?" Han Yu shook his head, "I'm not kidding you. I'm from the Numenon Sect. I plan to leave the academy after the freshman exam. That's why I recognized you as the Numenon martial spirit at a glance. Why do you want to leave Shrek Academy?" "I think it's a good place here, and Teacher Mu is also a nice person." "What will Ning Tian, Wu Feng and the others do if you leave?" Han Yu said doubtfully, "What does it have to do with them if I leave? Shrek is not suitable for our martial soul cultivation, and this place has been corrupted. There is no point in staying here. If you are willing to follow me, I will take you to join the Numenon sect and help you with the second awakening of your martial soul. You must know that even the lowest level of Black Iron level awakening can at least increase the strength by more than 30%. As for the higher level Silver level and Gold level, it is even more terrifying." Yuan Gun looked torn. Obviously this made it difficult for him to choose. His parents spent a lot of money to send him to study at Shrek Academy. If he just left like this, he would be a bit sorry for his parents, but Han Yu was really good to him, and he was the only one who didn't look down on him, and during these 3 months, he learned a lot from Han Yu. Gun, if you don't want to, I won't force you." Han Yu looked at the silent Yuan Gun and thought he didn't want to leave, so he immediately decided to forget it. After all, everyone has their own ambitions. "No, boss, I'll go with you," Yuan Gun said firmly. "The boss is right. Mine is the original martial soul. Only by following the boss can I become stronger. After all, among all the freshmen I have seen, no one can compare with the boss. You can become strong by following the strong, but you can only become a pig by following a pig. As for my father and mother, I can only say sorry, but as long as I can become stronger, my father and mother must also be willing." Yuan Gun comforted himself in his heart. "Okay, since you choose to follow me, I will definitely not let you down. This is a 50,000-year-old left leg bone of a spiked demon pig. If you take it and absorb it, it will definitely bring you a good one. Soul skills." Han Yu smiled happily. Unexpectedly, Yuan Gun finally agreed to go with him, and then he would be one of his own from now on. Although Yuan Gun didn't want to go with him, it was no big deal to him, but after getting along with him for the past 3 months, he found that Yuan Gun was quite a good person. He really dared to go to him if something happened, even when facing a soul master like Dai Huabin. Even though he looks innocent on the outside, his ferocity during fights is simply a mess. Soul bone. It's still 10,000 years old. Yuan Gun looked at the soul bone in Han Yu's hand with a hot face and quickly covered his mouth, obviously afraid that others will know. "Don't worry, there's no one here. Han Yu can enable mental detection sharing at any time, so it's good to be vigilant about this kind of thing." "Boss, is this really for me?" Yuan Gun was a little disbelieving and swallowed hard. "Well, I guess this soul bone should have spikes growing on its body, which doesn't suit me. You should be more suitable for this soul bone than me. Take it." Han Yu smiled slightly and put the bag in Yuan Gun's hand. Yuan Gun looked at the bag containing the soul bones in his hand, feeling as if he was dreaming. Then, in Han Yu's shocked eyes, he knelt down nimbly, hugged his thigh, and cried loudly, "Boss, these few hundred kilograms of fat will be yours from now on. I will do whatever you want me to do. What are you doing? Han Yu. Come on, stop playing tricks. What use do I need from you with these hundreds of kilograms of fat? Yuan Gungun stood up and said with a smile, I'm not too excited. You can absorb the soul bones here. There is no one here. I will protect you. Good. Yuan Gungun agreed and took out the 50,000-year-old spiked demon pig's left leg bone from the bag, his face full of obsession, as if he was looking at his wife. Then he put the soul bone against his left leg and slowly integrated it into it. Han Yu stood aside to protect Yuan Gungun. After watching him enter the cultivation state, he nodded with satisfaction. This soul bone is still a bit too low level for him. As a teacher who is poisonous and immortal, he can definitely hunt down 100,000-year-old soul beasts when the time comes. Do you want any soul bones by then? As for the consequences of angering the Star Do Forest or other soul beast gathering places, he can't control it now. Besides, he is a human being and this is the rule of Douluo continent. If you want to increase your strength, you have to kill the soul beast, even if he didn't want it by then. I'm afraid Douluo Jueshi would have already come to him with a pile of 100,000-year-old soul bones. You know, people in the Numenon sect are all a bunch of lunatics. Once they make up their minds, they are reckless. As for the consequences, I'm sorry, this is not something they should consider. As for the Numenon sect, in order to hunt down the 100,000-year-old soul beast, it finally triggered a wave of beasts. It resulted in numerous casualties among civilians. Does Ontology sect really have all the responsibility? Han Yu doesn't think so. As long as humans still need soul rings to practice, then the beast tide will eventually break out one day. The only difference is who is the fuse. What's more, that time the entire Numenon sect mobilized, united with Shrek Academy, and paid a heavy price, and finally succeeded in repelling the beast tide. From another perspective, it is possible that hunting for 100,000-year soul rings has improved their strength, which is why they were able to successfully repel the beast tide. If humans did not have so many top-level masters, they would have been wiped out by soul beasts long ago, and civilians would have been the first to bear the brunt. Since this is the way to improve strength, in Han Yu's opinion, soul beasts are a kind of resource. Only if your fists are strong can you enjoy the top treatment. If your fists are not strong, then you'd better absorb a 10-year soul ring, preferably a soft bone rabbit. I don't know how many soul beasts that kind of soul beast will give birth to in a year. Anyway, just have enough. Maybe if you are lucky, you can get the invincible golden body or the 8-stage throw. This is not impossible, as long as you try, maybe. It took Yuan Gungun a long time to absorb the soul bone. When night fell, he successfully absorbed it. The momentum on Yuan Gungun's body rose visibly, and it was obvious that he had reached level 29. Thinking of this, Han Yu felt a little proud in his heart, and his vision was still very good. He actually discovered Yuan Gungun, a genius. If Shrek discovered him, it might take a long time. As for Huiyuhao, Han Yu's heart moved slightly. He originally didn't intend to pay attention to Huiyuhao, but at this moment, his heart changed a little. In Shrek, Huiyuhao couldn't develop at all during this period. You know, when you haven't made a name for yourself, Shrek Academy won't give you any resources. In the outer courtyard, you are not really a Shrek student. These people are here to gild themselves or expand their network. Shrek Academy will naturally not invest heavily in you. Please read, vote, please. Chapter 65. How much garlic did you eat? You are listening at novelfull.audio. At most, I will give you the title of a core disciple and let you eat the food of Shrek Academy for free. Do you want better resources? Take something to exchange. The things here are not precious things, but how about I take Huiyuhao away and deal with Shrek together in the future? Disgust Shrek. You know, his martial soul is also okay, but it is obviously not getting the best improvement in Shrek Academy. Just when Han Yu was in a state of confusion, a voice broke his meditation. Boss, I have absorbed it. My soul power has been upgraded to a level, and I have also obtained a defensive soul skill called Spiked Demon Armor. Yuan Gungun opened his eyes with surprise and subconsciously touched his left leg. Han Yu nodded and said, tell me about the effect of your soul skill. Originally, a person's soul skill is confidential. This is a matter of life and death. but Han Yu is obviously not in this category in Yuan Gungun's mind. He chuckled and said, Soul Bone Skill, Spiked Magic Armor. Defense increases by 100%, toughness increases by 300%, and then extremely sharp spikes will grow on the body, covering the whole body. Once the enemy is hit, the wound will be very difficult to heal. Han Yu's heart moved. He understood defense, but the attribute of toughness is relatively rare. Generally speaking, it will not appear in most soul masters. This toughness is actually a defensive attribute. Simply put, it is not easy to be injured. For example, a piece of iron is very hard, which means that its defense is very strong, but once it suffers enough damage, it will break directly. But if its toughness is also very strong and it suffers huge damage at the same time, then it will not break, but will be bent, as shown in Yuan Gungun. Once he suffers fatal damage, his toughness will reduce a part of it, thereby reducing the damage in the most intuitive way. In addition to the spikes growing on his body, he has a stronger attack power. Your soul skill is very powerful. Now you can be regarded as a true offensive defense soul master. Han Yu looked strange. If Shrek Academy knew that he had kidnapped such a genius, he didn't know how they would react. Yuan Gungun smiled and said, Thanks to you, boss. Otherwise, I would not be worth the money even if I sold myself to get the soul bone. Then, he said seriously, Boss, what I said just now is serious, not a joke. I will follow you in the future. Even if I go to die, I, Yuan Gungun, will never frown. Don't dislike me when the time comes. The last sentence seemed to be a joke. Han Yu smiled helplessly, pretending to be indifferent and said, It's just a soul bone, there's no need to fight to the death, you should have a bigger vision, follow me, let alone a soul bone of 10,000 years, even a soul bone of 100,000 years, I can get it for you in the future. Since you choose to follow me to leave Shrek Academy, let alone other things, at least I want you to be stronger than the students of the same period in Shrek Academy. Our body sect is known for its strong fighting power. If you can't beat the students of the same period, don't say you are my little brother when you go out. Han Yu said a little unhappily. Hearing this, Yuan Gungun patted the fat on his chest and said loudly, Don't worry, boss, I, Yuan Gungun, will say this today. If I lose to anyone of the same period in the future, I will walk on my belly directly in the future. Han Yu was stunned. Is it such a big deal? How to walk on the belly, isn't that rolling? Okay, stop talking nonsense. It's getting late. Go back and rest early. Fight hard tomorrow. Boss, don't worry. Look at me, we've got the championship. At this time, somewhere in the woods, a firm voice was also heard. We want the championship. No words were spoken all night. Time soon came to the start of the game. The assessment area of Shrek Academy is next to the fighting spirit area. Compared with the fighting spirit area, the assessment area is obviously larger. After all, it needs to accommodate enough teams for assessment. The entire assessment area is an oval, and the assessment area can be adjusted according to the new students' teams every year. As long as some partitions are used in the middle, the strength of the new students is relatively low, and there are no soul skills with great lethality. Therefore, there is no need to worry about damaging the venue and interfering with other people's competitions. The entire assessment area is about 20,000 square meters, divided into a total of 50 areas. The grouping was completed in the morning, and the teams of each class generally do not meet now. Han Yu and his team were assigned to the 33rd area. At this time, he was walking slowly towards the competition area with Yuan Gungun. Only one game was needed today to adapt to the rhythm of the game in advance. Han Yu might not need to take action in this case. Yuan Gungun could solve it alone. There were several teams in the same group with Han Yu and his team. At this time, they were ready to fight and looked at each other with hostility. Everyone today was an opponent. In addition, only half of the freshmen who took the assessment could stay, so everyone was afraid to be careless at this moment. Please note that there are only 10 minutes left for admission. Please go to the competition venue where you need to take the assessment, otherwise it will be regarded as a waiver. Just as the broadcast sounded, Han Yu and Yuan Gungun arrived late. Han Yu looked at the freshman team participating in the competition and shook his head. Gungun can solve this group of people by himself, except for that group. Han Yu looked towards the team in the corner, with a playful smile on his lips. The members of that team were Hui Yuhao, Wang Dong, and Xiao Xiao. At this time, Hui Yuhao was obviously a little nervous. After all, the people here were much higher in cultivation than him. He himself was only a soul master now and did not have much fighting ability. Wang Dong put his left hand on Hui Yuhao's shoulder and said, "Don't be nervous. You must know that our goal is to win the championship. This is just a trivial matter." He had carefully observed just now that these freshman teams were very weak and were no match for him. This was also where his confidence lay. Hui Yuhao's expression improved slightly and he couldn't help but cheer himself up. "We are the champions." Xiao Xiao and Wang Dong nodded to him at the same time, and their palms overlapped. "Yo! How much garlic did you eat to make you smell so loud? The game hasn't even started yet, and it seems like the championship is already within your grasp." Just when the three of them were full of energy, an inappropriate voice interrupted them. As soon as Yuan Gungun's huge body appeared, it attracted everyone's attention, and Hui Yuhao and the others were no exception. Yuan Gungun put his left hand across his chest, picked out his ears with his right hand supporting him, and looked at the three people with a somewhat disdainful tone. Now that he has made up his mind, Yuan Gungun no longer suppresses his personality and just provokes everyone in front of him. Anyway, in his opinion, these people in front of him are all just bitters, they have no strength, and their tone is not ordinary. Please Reddit, please vote, please. A call for heroines has been released. If you are interested, you can check out the comments section. Chapter 66. The assessment begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the opponent said he wanted to win the championship, it was as if he had touched his inner skin. He just made a promise to the boss yesterday, and today someone jumped out and slapped him in the face. Didn't this slap his fat face? Han Yu stood aside and said nothing. This was not his instruction, but he did not stop Yuan Gungun's behavior. On the contrary, I am somewhat happy to see the results. Young people, it is not a bad thing to be a little crazy sometimes. Shrek Academy is good at causing trouble, and today they will carry out this behavior to the end. Hui Yuhao and the others were stunned. They didn't expect that someone would come to make trouble. Wang Dong looked at Yuan Gungun's fat body, which was shining with oil under the reflection of the sun, and a trace of disgust flashed in his eyes. He snorted angrily and raised his head proudly. What do you know, you damn fat guy? With my young master's strength and the cooperation of the two of them, it's not easy to win the championship. A trace of surprise flashed in Yuan Gungun's eyes. So crazy? They secretly thought, didn't they watch the previous match between Dai Huabin and the boss in the soul fighting arena? After seeing the strength of the boss, he is still confident that he will win the championship. Is it possible that he really has a very powerful trump card? Thinking of this, Yuan Gungun's face became slightly solemn, and he stopped provoking words. Instead, he walked to a corner and waited silently with Han Yu for the assessment to begin. In fact, Yuan Gungun's guess was correct. All the freshmen went to watch the previous soul fight between Han Yu and Dai Huabin, but only the students from Class 1 were forced to run on the playground by Zhou Yi. Moreover, several students were expelled, including Tai Long. So Hui Yuhao and Wang Dong really don't know. Seeing Yuan Gungun being repelled by his words, Wang Dong's face became even more proud, and his head was held high, like a proud big white goose. At this moment, a hand pulled Wang Dong's sleeve. Hui Yuhao, why are you pulling me? Wang Dong looked at Hui Yuhao with some confusion. Hui Yuhao whispered, we are in trouble. Look, who is that person over there? After speaking, he raised his head. The two of them looked in the direction where he raised his head, and saw a handsome young man standing there quietly with his arms crossed. Next to him was the fat man who had just provoked them. Xiao Xiao said with some surprise, that's Han Yu, the classmate from our first class. Didn't he transfer to another class? I didn't expect to meet him here. Hui Yuhao said, in this competition, people from the same class will try not to appear here, so it is normal for him to appear here. Now we should be in big trouble. He is very strong. You all should know that he has defeated teacher Zhou Yi before. Hearing this, Wang Dong and Xiao Xiao felt their hearts beat slightly, and the confidence in their hearts dissipated a bit. Wang Dong couldn't help but said, what are you afraid of? Last time he relied on the soul guide to hurt teacher Zhou. This time the soul guide cannot be used in this competition. His strength will definitely be greatly reduced, and we may not lose. If you hadn't stopped me last time, I would have insisted on him looking good, that the more Wang Dong said it, the more it made sense. In his heart, he also strongly rejected soul guidance devices, believing that only relying on one's own martial soul was the last word. Xiao nodded repeatedly after hearing this. Wang Dong is right, don't forget that if the three of us cooperate, even the Soul Lord will not be able to please him. Hui Yuhao was stunned. Thinking of the scene where the three of him were in the woods, the confidence in his heart slowly returned. At this moment, a teacher who looked about 40 years old came to District 33. He looks very ordinary, looks very kind, and exudes the aura of a scholar. After carefully counting the number of people, he said, "We have a total of 6 groups of students here for assessment. My name is Wang Yan, and I will be your next assessment teacher." "Hello, Teacher Wang," that he nodded to everyone and said, "In this assessment, you must not injure your opponent. Otherwise, I can only ask him to leave the academy." He said it simply, but everyone else understood what he meant and nodded. Then he said, "The first round of the first assessment, Freshman Class 1, Hui Yuhao, Wang Dong, Xiao. Freshman Class 9, Han Yu, Yuan Gun. Having said this, he glanced at the two of them in surprise and asked, "Are there only 2 of you?" Yuan Gun replied, "Teacher Wang, yes. Would this be unfair to you? Does your teacher know?" "Our teachers know it, and 2 people are enough for us." Yuan Gun narrowed his eyes slightly, put his hands behind his back and said calmly. Seeing what Yuan Gun said, Wang Yan nodded and said, "In that case, you can enter the venue. I said you can only release your martial arts spirit after the game starts." Unexpectedly, there were only 2 of them. Now we are more confident. Hui Yuhao walked into the venue and said excitedly to Wang Dong and Xiao. Wang Dong snorted, "Ha! This is so arrogant. Let's show them some color later." On the other side, Han Yu and Yuan Gun also walked to another corner and stood there. Yuan Gun chuckled and said, "Boss, you don't have to do anything later. Let's see how I teach them a lesson." For those who call him fat, he usually has to teach him a profound lesson. Han Yu nodded and said nothing. Yuan Gun is indeed very strong now, and it is not a problem to challenge anyone on the opposite side. But facing the siege of 3 opponents, it was obvious that there should still be a gap, but he was not worried. At worst, he would take action himself. With him as the defender, they would not lose the game. "Hey, brother, do you think Han Yu and the fat guy can do it?" There are 3 people on the opposite side. Zhao Haochen from the freshman class 3 asked Chen Junfeng on the side. "I don't know about the fat guy, but Han Yu is very strong. After all, he is a ruthless person who can defeat Soul Master." Chen Junfeng said solemnly. Obviously he had also watched the game. "Don't talk, the game has started." The last team member reminded, the positions of Hui Yuhao, Wang Dong, and Xiao are very interesting. Wang Dong stood at the front, Xiao in the middle, and Hui Yuhao at the end. The 3 of them formed a straight line. Seeing that both sides were in position, Wang Yan nodded and said, "The assessment begins." Both sides released their martial arts spirits at the first moment. Yuan Gun's body instantly expanded to 2 meters and 5, and then his body shrank into a huge meatball. "Boss!" Yuan Gun's low voice came from the meatball, and Han Yu understood it instantly after hearing it. A red light flashed in his eyes, and an invisible wave instantly enveloped the entire test site. "Boss, I'm here, watch me." Meat and egg impact. Yuan Gun directly accumulated power on the spot and rolled quickly, squeak. There was a violent friction sound from the ground, and finally, the rotation speed reached a peak. "I'll go." As he finished speaking, the meatball that Yuan Gun turned into was fired out like a cannonball. Please read, vote, please. Chapter 67 The Butterfly with Broken Wings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this a meatball? A trace of surprise flashed in Wang Dong's eyes. As expected of Shrek Academy, it has all kinds of martial arts. Watch me cut you open. Wang Dong moved quickly, and rushed out in a flash. with a pair of blue-purple wings stretched out from his back. The wings had golden light patterns and looked full of special effects, instantly attracting the attention of everyone present. However, Yuan Gun, who was charging forward, didn't care how beautiful you were, and bumped directly into the three of you. Looking at the extremely fast meatball in front of him, Wang Dong was flying in the air with a trace of surprise in his eyes. I didn't expect this fat man to be so fast. He must be blocked, otherwise Xiao Xiao and Hui Yuhao behind will definitely be knocked out. A thought flashed through his mind, and Wang Dong's left wing swept directly towards the meatball. Puff! The sharp left wing hit the ball instantly, but to his surprise, the ball was not cut open as he expected. Instead, it slightly absorbed her left wing. It's weird, why does it look like cotton? Wang Dong instantly pulled out his left wing and flew into the air again, but Yuan Gun ignored him. When he pulled out his wings, he rushed towards Xiao Xiao and Hui Yuhao as if he had his own goals. Not good. Wang Dong screamed in his heart and hurriedly chased the meatball. A faint golden light lit up in Hui Yuhao's eyes, and Wang Dong and Xiao Xiao's bodies trembled at the same time, obviously receiving the shared blessing of Hui Yuhao's mental detection. Xiao Xiao, who was ranked second, had a flash of confidence on her face. In her field of vision, the trajectory of the meatball had completely appeared in her mind. Looking at the meatball rushing towards her, she smiled slightly, and her first soul ring had already lit up. I don't know when, a big black cauldron quietly appeared in front of Rukyu. Xiao Xiaojiao shouted, the shock of the tripod. Boom boom boom. The big black cauldron split into three instantly and sent out three consecutive shocks. Yuan Gun's body stagnated, which was obviously caused by the big cauldron's interception. The art of doubling. A low shout came, and the meatball transformed by Yuan Gun expanded again, reaching 3 meters away in the blink of an eye. The three big black cauldrons were instantly bounced away, and Meatball resumed his offensive again. How is that possible? Is he a monster? Xiao Zhao's face was shocked, and a trace of panic flashed in her eyes. The 3-meter-large meatball was now close at hand, and the pressure coming from it made her head spin. I secretly thought in my heart that if I were pressed over, I might be crushed into a meat pie. Under the 3-meter-high meatball, Xiao Zhao's petite body looked particularly helpless at this moment, and was about to be crushed. Ah! Xiao Xiao subconsciously covered his eyes, as if he didn't want to see his flesh and blood flying everywhere. At this moment, a feeling of weightlessness came. Xiao Xiao, are you okay? Why don't you know how to hide? Wang Dong's voice sounded like he hated iron for not becoming steel. Smelling the fragrance coming from his arms, Xiao Xiao opened his eyes and looked at Wang Dong with a blush on his face. He smells so good. This is the first time he has hugged me. Although it is a bit inappropriate, I feel so excited. Xiao Zhao's heart couldn't help but jumped with thud and thud. Just when Xiao Xiao was thinking wildly, Hui Yuhao was left in misery, with only one level of cultivation. Facing the ferocious aggression of the big man, he was like a pitiful puppy, running away like crazy. The Xiantian Kung in his body was running wildly, and he stepped on the castrated version of Ghost Shadow. His body instantly burst out at an astonishing speed and rolled sideways to avoid the attack. Hui Yuhao, who barely escaped, took a deep breath, knelt on the ground, and shouted in the air with red eyes, Wang Dong, how long will you two continue to hug me? Before he finished speaking, a meatball appeared in his field of vision again. Damn, why did he turn so fast, as if he knew where I was? In desperation, Hui Yuhao could only use all his strength to get up from the ground and run like crazy, hoping to escape the pursuit of the meatball. Run, run. I heard that you guys are pretty good at running. Let me see where your limits are. A laugh came from inside the meatball, chasing after Hui Yuhao like a cat playing with a mouse. Whoops. Hui Yuhao gasped for air and complained in his heart that Wang Dong and Xiao Xiao didn't come to save him even though he was like this. If this continues, I'm afraid it will be eliminated. Although being eliminated will not affect promotion, they are the ones who want to win the championship. If they are eliminated in the first game, this will have a huge impact on morale. When Wang Dong heard Hui Yuhao's roar, he felt slightly embarrassed, put down Xiao Xiao, and hurried to help. I am coming. Wang Dong roared and flew towards Hui Yuhao at extremely fast speed. It's finally here, I have no energy left. Hui Yuhao bent his body, put his hands on his knees, opened his mouth wide and kept breathing. Are you here? Then he can leave. Yuan Gungun seemed to be tired of playing. Looking at Hui Yuhao, who was like a target, his whole flesh ball was like rubber, the upper part was suddenly pressed down, and the entire meatball turned into an oval shape, and then bounced hard. Look at my ejection start. Woohoo! Under the pressure of gravity, the meatball returned to its original shape again, and a huge thrust directly made the whole meatball fly up. No! Hui Yuhao's eyes widened, and a huge shadow in the sky covered him, and then, falling in front of him, the meatball slightly pushed forward. Hui Yuhao felt a huge elastic force coming, and then the whole person flew out of the field. Hui Yuhao! Wang Dong exclaimed. He didn't expect Hui Yuhao to be eliminated directly like this. Then his heart moved, and he found that the three-dimensional image in his mind did not disappear. Turning his head to look in the direction of Hui Yuhao, the faint golden light in his eyes was still shining. Wang Dong suddenly realized that in this case, Hui Yuhao was obviously better than in the assessment area. First soul skill, Wing Guillotine. His first soul ring had already lit up at this time, and a pair of blue-purple wings instantly surged with golden light, and a layer of sharp golden light appeared on the edge of the wings. The left wing suddenly swung forward, like a sharp sword, with an extremely strong sharp aura on it. If it were an ordinary soul master, he would be crippled if he was hit by this knife head-on. But Yuan Gungun is not an ordinary soul master. Although his martial soul has good attack power, his defense is even stronger. Unlike ordinary defensive soul masters, Yuan Gungun is an operational defensive soul master. Facing this swift slash, the meatball that Yuan Gungun turned into suddenly squirmed, and then a huge hole appeared on the surface of the skin, directly clamping Wang Dong's left wing in it. Wang Dong pulled hard, but it didn't move at all. Damn it, you disgusting fat man, let me go. Wang Dong was furious, and his face turned red because of excessive force. Please read it. Please vote, please. Chapter 68 Avengers. Long chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If you ask me to let it go, will I let it go? If you have the ability, pull it out. Hey hey hey. Yuan Gungun's somewhat irritating voice came, making Wang Dong grit his teeth. Xiao Xiao, help quickly. Wang Dong failed to pull for a while and quickly called Xiao Xiao from behind. But Xiao Xiao didn't respond to him. He turned around and looked. I don't know when Han Yu had quietly stood next to Xiao Xiao. His face was calm and he stared at her deeply. Surprisingly, Xiao Xiao stood beside him extremely obediently. Although her face was still beautiful, there was an empty confusion in her eyes, as if she had lost her soul. Asshole, what did you do to Xiao Xiao? Han Yu looked at Wang Dong, who looked angry, and said coldly, it's nothing. It's just that she can't help you for the time being, so you should work hard. Come on. The cold voice was cheering him up, but Wang Dong couldn't feel any joy. As he spoke, a flash of scarlet suddenly flashed in Han Yu's eyes, which was the fluctuation of his mental power. It was sudden and violent, and the invisible mental fluctuation rushed towards Hui Yuhao, who had his spiritual eyes open. Like a storm, Hui Yuhao's eyes instantly became blank, and the spirit eyes in his eyes also closed. Although Hui Yuhao also possesses spiritual soul master abilities, compared with Han Yu, his spiritual power is far from enough. Just like the current situation, spiritual soul masters often show absolute crushing when faced with competitions in spiritual power. The weak can only be suppressed mercilessly without the slightest ability to fight back. Unlike ordinary soul masters, the two of them were obviously a big level apart, but they were still able to fight back and forth. Defeat still takes a certain amount of time. Unless you crush the opponent in terms of strength, it is impossible to kill instantly. Do you want revenge? A devil whispered in Hui Yuhao's ears. Revenge. Hui Yuhao looked around blankly. The scene in front of him was obviously no longer in the assessment area. Everything he saw was dark. A blood moon high in the sky brought a glimmer of light to this space. The three black Magatama stars on the blood moon were watching him quietly. The lonely and cold atmosphere continued to erode his consciousness. Where are you? Who are you? A trace of fear flashed in Hui Yuhao's eyes. This is the junction of reality and darkness, your inner space. I know that you, Huiyuhao, have incomparable hatred in your heart, but you are too weak. You are not even as good as a reptile. A figure was suspended above the blood moon, making Huiyuhao's eyes widen. You are Han Yu. What do you want to do? Huiyuhao took a few steps back, looking at the cold rain in the sky with a flash of panic in his eyes. This unfamiliar environment gave him a lot of pressure. The Duke of White Tiger gave birth to an illegitimate son. His mother was framed and he was bullied from childhood to adulthood. What a tragic life experience. Who are you and why do you know these things? Are you the person who sent me to kill me? Huiyuhao's pupils shrank. He had never told anyone about these things, so only people in that place knew about them. Unexpectedly, he fled to Shrek Academy, and these people still refused to let him go. You seem to have misunderstood. I am not from your family. How I know this has nothing to do with you. Han Yu looked at Huiyuhao, who had a look of hatred in front of him, and felt a slight movement in his heart. It seemed that the hatred in his heart was deeper than he imagined. You won't get the best training at Shrek Academy. With your current growth rate, you don't know how long it will take to get revenge. And your martial spirit is not suitable for Shrek Academy. And I can make you stronger. Methods. Think about what those people did to you. Without strength, you are just an ant who can be bullied at will. What did you get in Shrek? Running every day for 3 months. Your innate soul power is very low. You are now 12 years old and will soon enter your golden period of cultivation. If you continue to waste time like this at Shrek, revenge will be far away. If you want to become as strong as me, then come to me and release the darkness in your heart. You are an Avenger and do not need to be cultivated in this gentle room. Han Yu looked at the poor chess piece shrouded in black energy with a smile on his face. Become stronger. Avenger. Mother. Huiyuhao's expression was uncertain. His experiences from childhood to adulthood kept reappearing in his mind. Black air continued to appear from his body. The temperature of the already cold space seemed to have dropped a few points again. Just when Han Yu thought he would agree, a voice made his smile stop abruptly. No, you are wrong. Shrek Academy is the best academy on the mainland. Only by staying here can I get the best training. My soul power from the 11th level to the current peak 17th level is the best. Proof. If I only rely on myself, I don't know how long it will take to reach such a level. I believe that Shrek Academy will not let me down. Huiyuhao said categorically. The black aura on his body seemed to be gradually dissipating, and his eyes became clear again. It seems that you don't understand what situation you are in now. Anyway, only by putting yourself in hell can you feel the pain. Han Yu shook his head. It seemed that he could not take Huiyuhao away for the time being. However, he believes that someone will help him next. Since that's what you think, let's do it this way. I still say the same thing. If you want to become stronger, come to me. Huiyuhao was about to refute, but suddenly his eyes went dark and he lost consciousness. In the blink of an eye, Wang Dong's 2 teammates were completely eliminated. In fact, this game could be considered a loss. Wang Dong gritted his teeth and looked stubborn. Even if he used his second soul skill, he might not be able to beat these 2 people. The pride in his bones made him not want to admit defeat. This was too aggrieved. Are you still not going to admit defeat? Han Yu continued to tease with a playful smile. In fact, we didn't intend to really hurt you. After all, we are all classmates. Wouldn't it be better to end it in a friendly way? What do you think? Although Han Yu's words seemed to reveal a hint of tolerance and gentleness, in Wang Dong's ears, it seemed like a gust of cold wind, making people feel chilled to the bone. Admit defeat, it's nothing to be ashamed of losing to us. Han Yu's low and gentle voice lingered in Wang Dong's mind and kept echoing, as if constantly weakening his will. Just as Han Yu was about to penetrate the enemy's mind and further shake Wang Dong's will to resist, a roar suddenly exploded in his ears. You have already found a way to die. This earth-shaking roar made Han Yu's face change drastically in an instant. As pale as paper, a wisp of blood slowly flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his body shook slightly. Boss, are you okay? Yuan Gungun was shocked when he saw this, and he had no idea how Hanyu was injured. Hanyu waved his hand to show that he could still hold on, and his eyes flashed with cold light. Unexpectedly, just using illusion to affect Wang Dong slightly would attract the man's attack. Fortunately, the attack was not strong, and he was only slightly injured. This seemed to be a self-protection mechanism, and he had no ability to attack actively. Although he was injured, he did not gain nothing. At least he knew that although the other party had the ability to resist illusion, his attack power was not very strong. And it seemed that there was something he was afraid of, so he did not dare to go all out. Very good, I will remember this grudge. One day I will let you taste the thing you fear most. Using my Sharingan. A trace of murderous intent flashed in Han Yu's eyes. Why is there your shadow everywhere? Do you really treat Douluo continent as a back garden? There is one more reason to become stronger. You can do it, God King, and I, Han Yu, can do it too. However, it is not advisable to act rashly at this time. Steadily improving strength is the key. He looked at Wang Dong with some fear. It seems that illusion is useless to him at present, and it is better to use physical attacks directly, otherwise, a certain God King will be brought out, and he will not be able to fight back for the time being. Gun Gun, do it, just throw him out, Han Yu shouted in a low voice. Yes, boss, Yuan Gun Gun's fat trembled, and the cut suddenly clamped and then swung hard. Ah, a scream came, followed by the sound of a heavy object falling to the ground. Wang Dong fell to the ground and fell flat on his face. Damn bastard, how dare you treat me like this? Wang Dong stood up cursing. At this moment, his anger and humiliation merged into one, and he burst into an uncontrollable rage. Class 9 Hanyu team won a game. After Wang Yan announced it, he recorded something on his file. After Wang Yan registered the results of the game, he looked at Hanyu again. Although Yuan Gun Gun was extremely amazing in his eyes, he was more interested in Hanyu. Throughout the game, Hanyu almost didn't do anything, and Yuan Gun Gun was fighting all the time, but from his eyesight, Yuan Gun Gun called Hanyu the boss, so Hanyu must be stronger than him. However, even with his amazing eyesight, he couldn't tell what was going on. The student Xiao Xiao stopped moving after being looked at by Hanyu, but he seemed to see a little red light vaguely. As the strongest teacher in theory, Wang Yan naturally has great arrogance in this regard. He did not take the initiative to ask Hanyu, but planned to rely on his theoretical knowledge to infer it bit by bit. This is exactly what he is good at, but he is afraid he will be disappointed. The Sharingan has never appeared in Douluo continent. Even if you understand his ability this time, it may not be what you know next time. After the game, Hanyu and Yuan Gun Gun left the assessment area. The rest of the game was nothing to watch. All of them were chickens fighting each other. Dormitory 108. Damn it. I didn't expect us to lose in the first game. I'm really unwilling to accept it. Wang Dong sat on his luxurious blanket and complained. Hui Yuhao also had a grim look on his face. He didn't expect to lose right after he came out of the mountain. He thought he could shine. It's okay, Wang Dong. Although we lost the first game, we won the other 4 games. We still have a chance to win the championship. And we are now assigned to another arena, so the chance of winning should be very high. Hui Yuhao comforted him. They are not in the same group with Hanyu now, so they will not face each other again. It's good news. Wang Dong nodded and said, I didn't expect those 2 people to be so strong. I should have used my 1000-year soul skills earlier and knocked them down directly. Next time we meet, don't be careless, just use all your strength when you come up. A strange look flashed across Hui Yuhao's eyes, and the scene in the blood moon space flashed in his mind again. Avengers? Mom, I will definitely avenge you. Only Shrek can make me stronger. Hui Yuhao's face was gloomy, his body trembled slightly, his hands clenched into fists, his fingers were white, and his eyes were full of madness. In the following games, Hanyu won all 5 games in a row, all by Yuan Gun Gun alone, and with the sharing of mental detection, he directly knocked down the 3 opponents. They advanced with a complete victory, and their results were the best, so they continued to stay in the 33rd zone. after the redraw, 5 groups of opponents were changed. What surprised Hanyu was that the opponent this time was actually a pair of twins. Lan Susu, and Lan Luoluo's sisters. Speaking of which, these two people are also body spirits, but the strength of the spirits is at the edge, which is very embarrassing. It is human hair. How to say this spirit? The strength of the spirit is very average. Hair is not very important to the human body. Please read on, please vote, please, please, please. Chapter 69, Remarks on the Release of the Book. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Very suddenly, I received the notice of the release from the editor. First of all, I would like to thank my editor, and then thank my brothers for their support. Here again, I would like to thank those brothers who voted silently but did not comment. I am familiar with your IDs, although the performance of this book is relatively poor, hahaha. This is my first book, and I don't know what to say. It is inevitable that there will be many bugs when writing a book for the first time, but I will continue to work hard. Although the performance is very poor, as long as someone is still reading, this book will not be unique, and I will keep writing until the end. It is expected to be at least 1 million words. The years are long, like songs and dreams. I hope you can walk in the world with a gentle heart and enjoy every moment of beauty. I wish you all, your best friends, a bright future and a promising future. In addition, it will be released later. Today, 24,000 words will be updated, which is considered to be a thank you for the support of the brothers, then follow up according to the situation, and there should be 10,000 words in the next 2 days. Finally, I ask for a wave of top support. Thank you all for your support. Finally, let me talk about the update time. From now on, all will be posted after 12 a.m. every day, and will not be posted the next day. Chapter 70 Chapter 91 is out. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brothers, Chapter 91 has been passed, and the title has been changed to Douluo Jueshi, Get the Sharingan at the beginning. It was previously called Douluo Jueshi, Get the selection system at the beginning. That the cover and introduction have also changed, so I'm telling you all this so you don't think the book has been changed and this chapter is free.